Hello, good ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now, we're running out of content to do. I was about to listen to the NeX Architects album because I am due to do it. However, I have just seen the time and I am quite stretched for time. So, unfortunately, that's going to have to wait. Again, I apologise. I know there's people waiting for that, but um, it is what it is. So, instead, I'm being lazy and we're doing a tier list. We're going to do a Bring Me the Horizon Post-Human Next Gen song ranking. Now, we're not going from 1 to 16. We're going to do S2D, but I'll order them in order of like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll explain it. But as we go, it's going to start off with anything that gets put in there is not definite. I'm going to arrange it all at the end, and then we're going to get our final result. And I'm going to go in order on what comes on the album, of course. So we start with OST Dream Seeker. Now, of course, Dream Seeker is only a 20-second long little audio sample that is designed to transition into Utopia, so there isn't anything going for it. So of course it's going to have to go down into D tier straight away. Not that there's anything against it. It's a fine enough transition, but it doesn't feel like it, does anything too much for us. So Utopia next. From the moment I first heard Utopia, I thought it was an absolute perfect opening song for the album, or for any album in general. It just sounds like an opener. It doesn't exactly set the stage for the album, but in terms of how it goes and how it makes you feel as a song, it's very, very good in terms of its vibes and its energy. The vocals especially are fantastic. The lyrics are curious. The lore behind it is also great. I think it's a very good song. Very, very good song, as a matter of fact. Now, is it one of my favourites on the album? Only just no. It's still fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I really do like this song, but it's going to go in the A tier for me personally. It just misses that teeny little bit of like Bring Me the Horizon like flair that I personally look for in a Bring Me song. But again, like I said, not bad by any means necessary. Perfect opener. I love it to pieces. Now, another reason why I love Utopia so much is because it also leans into the transitions that OST Dreamseeker started, and it transitions into the next track, Kool-Aid. Now, Kool-Aid is a single on the album, and it's been out now for a long time. It's been out since the start of the year in January. Now, does that drag the song down for me? Absolutely fucking not, because Kool-Aid has been on repeat for me since it came out, and I don't think it will ever not be on repeat. I adore this song. It's got very high energy, something I look for in my tracks. Great balanced vocals, amazing screams in the song, even though they're not very present in the song. A breakdown that's fantastic. Randomly plays guitar solo, it's not like Bring Me to do them, but again, at first I thought it was strange, but after a few listens it elevates the song in my opinion. The whole song in general, it just makes you feel good. It always, it never fails to give me goosebumps when I listen to it. The energy is amazing, and when you hear it at a very loud volume, in more of an like a club setting as well, it's even better. Kool-Aid for me is still an S tier song, and probably I'm gonna keep it at number 1. I think, because Kool-Aid for me is still the song of the year. It's so fucking good. It doesn't get old for me, and it's just the vibes are just unparalleled. I love it to bits. It's yeah, great shit. Moving on to top 10 statues that cry blood. Of course, Kool-Aid does transition into this song, not as gracefully as Utopia transitioned into Kool-Aid, but it's still a decent transition. Top 10 Statues is the song they're highlighting second most on the album since it's come out. It's the only song on the album since the release of the album to get a music video as far as this recording goes. Of course, that's excluding Kool-Aid, and it's for good reason. I think Top 10 Statues is a really good song. It's it's high in its energy, brings back those hyperpop emo vibes. The lyrics are especially deep. It's like I think this more or less sets the tone for the album more than Utopia does, in the fact that it's hyperpop and it leans into the emo side of things more than it does the heavy metal, and that's not a bad thing whatsoever. If anything, I think it's probably for the best, because we need a song to properly introduce the album, and this one is it, because Kool-Aid for me, it doesn't really feel like any of the other songs on the album. It's something special, whereas Top 10 Statues has a lot in common with some other songs on the album, so that's that. Now, as far as Top 10 Statues go as a listen, the chorus and the hook is incredibly catchy. Very, very catchy song. Very well sung as well. It's got some very, very advanced guitar work going on in there as well, so that makes it a bit special in my eyes. But I'm just going to stop beating around the bush. For me, it is an S tier song. Now, it's not better than Kool-Aid, but it's still a very, very, very good song. I found myself listening to it more and more since the album came out. It did take me a while to get on the side of this song, but yeah, the more listens I have, the better it gets. Next up, we got Limousine, a very obviously Deftones inspired song, even acknowledged by the band itself that it is taking inspiration from Deftones. But yeah, that doesn't take anything away from the song. Even you might be a Deftones fan and it might elevate the song for you, you might not be, and you might hate it. But I personally, I quite like Deftones. I think they've got a really good catalogue, a strong catalogue at that, and you know, it's one of those bands that didn't really get me into the scene, but it was one of the first ones I did discover. Now, of course, as it goes as a song with Limousine, it starts, you know, the way the song starts, it sets you up for something quite heavy, which it's not. That's when the Deftones come in. You know, this track features Aurora, which is, of course, going to be, you know, originally was going to be Billie Eilish. It's been well spoken about and documented at this point, so there's no point in me talking about it. But that aside, Aurora absolutely does a fantastic job in elevating this song, you know, even further than it already is. You know, it's a great song to begin with, but I think the section with Aurora does indeed elevate the song. Where would I place it? For me, again, this is another S tier song. I don't know if I prefer it over top of them statues. That thought process will come at the end of the video, but as it stands, Limousine, S tier song, and it's liked by a lot of people, and I can see why. Moving on, we got Dark Side. Dark Side was another single from the album that was released a while ago now. I think like September, October of last year. I can't really remember. It's been a while though. And when Dark Side came out, it got a lot of flack for being too safe and not too experimental. But I personally really like it. It is a safe song, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with that in my eyes. I think it's just a really catchy song. It's as simple as that. You're not looking for anything too special or out there. You just want a nice song that's catchy to sit back with. Dark Side is that song. Now, of course, like I said, it isn't exactly anything special. So personally, it's not going to be S tier. It is definitely A tier, in the higher A tiers for me personally. I was going to put it in S originally, but I don't want to overcrowd the S tier. I want to make it look like there's a bit of balance going on here, and it has to be a special song to breach the S. But yeah, as far as that goes, Dark Side goes there for me because it is a pretty freaking good song. Next song, we have A Bullet With My Name On. Now, this song, for me, stood out on the first listen really well. I thought it was a very dancey song. It was really high in its energy, again, like a lot of these songs are. And I really enjoyed it on the first listen. I didn't have anything against it. I've heard a lot of people say that it isn't anything special, but I personally beg to differ. You know, Under Oath on his section, he does a fantastic job. Of course, it includes that very controversial line that a lot of people got upset over. But Under Oath, being an ex-religious person himself, had no problem with singing the line, so that tells you everything you need to know about it not being very serious. But yeah, as far as the song goes itself, I think it's really good. Like I said, fantastic vibe, another catchy chorus. Not as catchy as Top 10 Statues. The songs are very similar in terms of their energy, I believe, personally. But I don't know, there's just something about this song that I prefer a little bit more over Top 10 Statues. Whether or not it's the Under Oath section or whether or not it's just the general, you know, overall continuous energy of the song with the flips between, you know, scream and clean, I don't know. But for me, A Bullet With My Name On is again another song in the S tier and has stuck with me since my first listen. You can catch my first listen on the channel as well, by the way. There is a reaction video on here somewhere. I won't link it at the end because there's another video that needs linking, but if you want to go find it, go find it. Right, next up we have OST Spiritual. Now this is again another OST track, but for me, I think personally with this track, the differences between this and Dream Seeker is it's an actual track that can be enjoyed on its own. It's quite, you know, it feels kind of not like hip-hop, but it has those hip-hop elements in its beat. And it, of course, lore-wise, it is based off a real-world ritual regarding a pentagram, which, if you know, a pentagram is the fucking logo, so it makes a lot of sense in that regard. But I think with Spiritual, since my first listen and re-listening to the album countless times, it's just the vibration of the guy's voice, you know, the distortion in the voice and the bass in the background, they blend together fantastically well to create sounds that if you're not sure what's being said, you can just hum along to anyway and interpret in your own way. You know, it doesn't make you feel good, but it's like if for 2 minutes you just feel really zoned out and really like, you know, really calm and whatnot. But it's a nice little break, let's put it that way. If you want to take it out of lore context, it's a nice break. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's more of a song than Dream Seeker is, and I can just get on with it a little bit better. But as far as it goes, again, it's nothing exactly special. It's not much of a song, but at least there is a musical element to the song. Next up, we have NA, the fan favourite from the album for many good reasons. Not only because it includes vocals from the fans, for those who attended the UK shows like I did back in January, that they were very very good shows and they had us do crowd vocals. It was an amazing experience, and to hear the song on the album, of course, it'll bump it for the people that were involved in that. But that aside, the song itself is, in terms of its lyrics, it's quite dark. It is a very dark song, but it's got a cheery vibe to it. It's quite, it's hard to describe this tune in the fact that makes you feel good song, but at the same time, you listen to the lyrics and you just shout them out loud and you think to yourself, what on earth am I saying? It's quite the bizarre one. But as far as NA goes, like I say, it's incredibly catchy. It's incredibly relatable to a lot of people that like this band, including myself. It's one of those like kind of sit back and go, whoa, kind of emo songs, but at the same time, you read some of the lyrics and you think, if you're in a predicament like that, you have been in a predicament like this, you think to yourself, shit, this is a very relatable song. And it gets brownie points for that for me because it does connect with me on a personal level. But yeah, as far as NA goes, it's easy an S tier. It's very, very easily an S tier. It's one of the best on the album. Again, it's one of those, like, it feels silly when you sing along to it, and it feels silly to say out loud, but when you think about it, that's the whole point of the song. That's the appeal behind the song, and it's genius. Next up, we have Lost. Now, Lost was the song that got me into the band about a year and a half ago, probably a bit longer. Now, Lost came out, I believe last year, if not the year before, I can't exactly remember. But when it came out, I remember it created some waves amongst a lot of people online. It created waves amongst my friends who listened to Bring Me the Horizon. And they said, listen to this song. And I did. I never really give Bring Me the Horizon a fair chance. I always decline doing that. I don't know why. But a lot of people always told me to listen to them. And I said, no. And then this song came along and they said, you got to listen to this. And then I got shown a preview and I thought, okay, I will actually listen to this song. And I fell in love with the song straight away. Well, not straight away. It took me like 2 or 3 listens, but it grew on me very fast, and I ended up loving it to bits. So Lost is a special song for me in the fact that it introduced me to the band. Is it my favourite Bring Me song? No, it is of course the most nostalgic for me, technically speaking, but it's nowhere near my favourite Bring Me song. Not at all, even though it is very good. In terms of the album, I will say it again, this is another S tier song, but when we come to organising these tunes around, it might switch between bottom and middle. It's definitely not taking the top spot, but it's in and around the area. So Lost, again, hyper pop focused, very emo in its lyrics, very catchy, very relatable to some people. All around, it's a really, really good tune. Such a bop. I love it to bits. Up next, we have Strangers to complete the little trilogy of sad boy songs. Strangers was one of the older tracks on the album. Of course, it got released as a single about 2 years ago. Because naturally it was one of the first completed on the album. As far as Strangers go, I don't have any problems with the song. I understand it's been out for a while, so it's worn off its welcome a lot for a lot of people, and they didn't want to see it on the album because it's been out for that long. The same goes for Die For You, but I don't see any problems with it because I really do like this song. I love it. I really do love it. But with like similar to Dark Side, for me it doesn't feel like anything great. It's still a great song, but nothing to elevate itself to that top tier personally for me. Apart from the fact that, again, it's another relatable song, it's really catchy, the chorus is massive, but that's just, a standard Bring Me. But yeah, as far as Strangers goes, I've got nothing against the song, but again, it's nothing too special for me. I think it's great, but it's not quite S tier. So again, it's another A tier track, and like some people, well, not sick of hearing it, but it's what the effect's wearing out on me just a little bit. But that's where that goes. Now we've got R.I.P. next. This is another new original song. Well, sorry, a new song we haven't heard before for the album, coming off the back of that little trilogy. And I think it's a fine enough song. Like, don't get me wrong, it's another very dancey song. But if you were to tell me to sit here now and recite any of the song to you, I don't think I could, apart from when they say R.I.P. and the little whoa 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 whatever they say. Just after that, during the chorus, it's nothing exactly stands out to me other than the lyric video with the skeleton dancing. It's still not an awful song by any means necessary. If it came on, I'd sit there and I'd listen to it, but it's just nothing too special for me. So R.I.P. will go in B. Now, Amen's up next. Amen was a difficult one for me when it came out, because of course I was only getting into the band and I wasn't massively into heavy metal at the time. I heard the odd Slipknot song on the playlist and whatnot, but when it came to Amen it coming out and I saw the features, I was like, well, this is a pretty stacked song. The intro straight away, looking at it from my perspective now, captivates you immediately, and it's just, there's nothing more I can say about the introduction. All you need to do is listen to it for yourself, and you'll think, shit, this song means business. And the song does mean business. It's incredibly cinematic in its feel. It's very catchy in its chorus as well, and the features only elevate the song even more. Of course, Amen, S tier song, no doubt about it. One of the best on the album, and it's held it's held itself really well since coming out as a single. Okay, up next we do have Pussy, which is another OST track, and this one and Spiritual will both sit in C for the fact that they are OST tracks that actually have a bit of an instrumental to them. Now, Pussy is more on the drum and bass side of things. It's really cathartic in comparison to Spiritual. It's very fast paced, and of course, this is more of a low track, and how it relates to the low. You can go and explore that for yourself. There is a video on the channel that will be linked at the end card. But yeah, no. As far as Pussy goes, it's another OST. Do I prefer it out of the two? I'll decide that in a moment. But yeah, nothing more can be said. Now, Die For You next, the second to last song on the album, the oldest song on the album, being out for about 3 years now. And Die For You is another one of those songs where it's good, but it's worn out its welcome for me personally. It was never really one of my favourite tracks from the band, full stop. I just thought it was fine enough. But yeah, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I like the song and I will listen to it if it comes on, but it's just nothing special. I prefer Strangers, and I prefer everything else that came after, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I don't know. Die For You is a strange one. I don't think it's quite B tier, because I do know I can recite lyrics for you and I can tell you this about the song, so it is an A tier, but it's very bottom of the barrel A tier, borderline B. It's just, I don't think it's a bad song. I'm just a little bit tired of it. And our final song, Dig It. Now, this is a special song for a lot of people. A lot of people said they cried when they listened to this song. A lot of people felt very emotional with this song. The more I listen to it, the more I understand that. On my first listen, I was quite unfazed by Dig It. As the lore implications go with the robotic voices, I'll be excluding that from ranking the actual track. But when we come to the track itself, again, very emotional song. Definitely, probably, maybe the saddest song they've ever made. But that doesn't give it automatic points in my eyes. For me, the song is a nice little vibe when you find yourself understanding the lyrics and, remembering the lyrics. You find yourself singing them just out of the blue, really randomly, and you'll freak yourself out like, why am I saying this? But no, Dig It's a good track. But again, for me, it's not anything too special. It definitely is A tier with how it makes you feel when you listen to it and the lyrics and the concepts that it explores, but it's not... it's not quite anything like for me personally. It's just it's just the last song on the album. It's quite a somber ending to an album, much like the previous album with that song with Amy Lee on it. It's just quite, I don't know, it's quite somber in its tone, and it's not something you like to round out on, unlike Oh No from That's the Spirit, for example. That's one of my favourite closing tracks on any album ever. But of course we're all different. And there we go. So now it's time to order them from best to worst. Now, Kool-Aid stays where it is. Of course, it is easily my favourite track on the album. But reordering these next few is going to be quite the task. But I already know what's second. I'm going to put NA in second, because it stands out a lot to me. I've already mentioned why it's a special song to me as well. And yeah, it's just one of those ones for me. Moving on, I'm going to put Amen in third. Amen has been one of my favourite Bring Me tracks since it released, like I said earlier, and I never failed to catch its vibe. I'm going to move over a Bullet With My Name On just underneath it at number 4, because again, I really do like this track a lot. Going to go again, I'm going to take Lost and put that just underneath it, and I'm going to swap Limousine and Top 10 Statues. That is my personal ranking for the S tiers, and going from first place to 7th. I believe that is, there's 7 there, yep. Now, A tier, I'm going to put Dark Side at the very top of it, because again, it's a song that I really do enjoy. It might not be anything special, but I really do enjoy it. I'm going to keep Utopia where it is. I'm going to keep Strangers where it is as well. And I think I'm content with keeping those two like that, actually. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm going to swap Dig It and Die For You. Don't mind Die For You, but just Dig It is just... it's that bit better, I think. And, of course, they can stay where they are. And when it comes to Spiritual and Pussy, I personally do prefer Spiritual over Pussy. I thought about that as I was doing the rest of it. I don't know. I just kind of prefer the sound of Spiritual. You know, it's not as cathartic, and as much as I do prefer fast-paced music, when it comes to this OST setting and whatnot, and just taking the track on the back burner, I do prefer Spiritual. It's a much easier listen than the catharticness and craziness that is the other one. So that is my final ranking for Bring Me the Horizon Posthuman Next Gen's tracks. Kool-Aid sitting at number 1, undefeated since it came out, and Dream Secret at the bottom. But if we want to talk about actual tracks, R.I.P. sits at the bottom. So you tell me what you thought of the album's tracks. You want to do this tier list as well, you feel free, you go for it, you order them in the comments, you do what you need to do. Tell me what your thoughts on the album were, tell me what your favourite track, your least favourite track was, your biggest surprise, all that lovely good stuff. Now, of course, like I said, I will be getting back to the Architects reactions in due time. I just don't really have time for it at the moment. I might be able to get it recorded this weekend, but there's no promises can be made right there. But yeah, there will be. I hope to have a video out next week. But within the next couple of weeks, I will also be taking up drumming. So hopefully, when I learn how to drum a bit better, I can start producing some drum covers of a few songs and whatnot. But yeah, as far as it goes, that is it for me today. Again, filler video, but I apologise. And I would like to say before I go, thank you so much for the amazing support on the Next Gen. Law video is doing incredibly well so far. The best performing video I've had across both of my channels in a long time. And yeah, thank you for the support. Let's keep it rolling. And there is some interest in the post-human survival horror lore video, so I think I'll compile that together and I'll get that out for you in due time. So again, I'm now signing off. Thanks a ton, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.